team, it's Steve. Welcome to another workout. But today we're just stretching and we're just rolling. So the definition of a recovery workout today. Now the idea is I just finished training. This is usually a bunch of the stuff that I do anyway. I thought I'll just take you through it with me. I'm gonna do these once or twice a week. So if you're not feeling like doing a full workout, or you just feel like adding some extra recovery work in by a bit of foam rolling, a little bit of stretching, then that's what we're going to do today. So this will be the workout for you. Now all in all, it's going to take about 15-ish minutes. Don't hold me to that, but I think that's where we'll end up being. Now we're going to start off on the foam roller. And we're going to start with the ITB. ITB is a side of the leg from the hip all the way down to the knee, and that's the area we're trying to put some pressure on. Now, a couple of techniques that we're going to use. Number one, we're just going to roll up and down throughout the whole muscle. Most important thing of foam rolling, you have to relax into the muscle. Yeah. If you stay tight, if you squeeze the muscle, this is not going to do anything for you. So we're going to just explore with a couple of rolls, and then where you feel a little bit of soreness, you're going to stay on and try to relax into it. You can do a little bit of bending and extending of the leg, but always come back to that relaxation. Then another good technique you can use is squeeze the muscle as hard as you can for 3, 2, 1, and then slowly relax. And do that again. Squeeze, 3, 2, 1, and slowly relax. After all, you should really have the feeling that you're getting in deeper and deeper. All right, let's switch to the other side. Same idea. We're going to start off with a couple of full rolls all the way from the knee to the hip, really getting an idea of where you're feeling that tightness. All right, there. So I'm just going to hang into this spot, do a little bit of scrubbing back and forth, and try bending and extending the leg. Whoa, that is quite tight. Now, I'm going to use my contrast method, which is what we just tried. So that's squeeze, 3, 2, 1, and slowly relax. And that made a difference. Feels a little bit looser now, which is exactly what we want. All right, now next up, we're going to go for the quads. We'll do one quad at a time. The quads are the big muscles in the front of your body. So, I'm focusing on my right side now. So my left leg is actually off the roller. I'm trying to put as much weight into that right side as I can. Again, trying to find out, ooh, that's where it is, okay. A bit of scrubbing, a bit of bending and extending. Anything we can do to loosen it up. Now, if you've done that for a while and still won't really let go, you can try that contrast method. So squeeze and slowly relax. The thing is with foam rolling, if you're relaxed and it's not hurting anymore, then you know you're doing a good job. Squeeze and relax. See, right now, feels heaps better, even though I'm pretty relaxed now. So, no big pain. Let's switch to the other side. Same idea here. Explore. Adventure is out there. Now this whole muscle is pretty much sore, so that makes it easy. A little bit of scrub-a-dub-dub. A little bit of bendy, extendy. There's a couple of good knots in here. Ooh, yeah. And then, if you feel like you've done as much as you can do that squeeze and relax. All right. And again, squeeze and relax. Heaps better. Now, I'm just doing it for 1 minute each spot. but feel free, if you have a lot of those spots, just to work your way down. I have done sessions of 10 minutes just on the quads, 15, 20 minutes if they're really bad. We're moving on now into some upper back work. Now we call this the T-spine because we're smarty pants personal trainers and we like giving stuff tricky names. It stands for the thoracic spine. It pretty much just means your upper back. Now a couple of things I like to do here. Just that rolling up and down. You can do a little bit of scrubbing side to side, bending side to side, but I also really want to get into the sides, so into that armpit muscles, the lats. One side, other side again. If you find a sore spot, stay on it and try to release it. That's what we're here for. And then the last thing I try to do is just extend over that roller. If you get a couple of pops and cracks here, that's absolutely fine. Don't worry about it. All right, so far for the roller. Let's move into some stretches. First one, a regular old hip flexor stretch. So one knee is down, tuck your tail, lean back, and press into it. You just want to get that stretch to the front. Now, a couple of tips on this one. Be active throughout your butt muscles. So the butt is the muscle that pushes the hips forward. The more that butt will push, the more stretch you'll get throughout the front of the leg. Since we just rolled it, that should help as well. The other thing, be active, gripping the floor with your toes and pulling yourself forward into that stretch. So I'm pushing with my glutes, I'm pulling with my toes. Again, nothing fancy in this position, but if you do it well, you don't need to be very fancy. And switch sides. Same exact thing, so run through it. Tuck the tail. Lean the upper body a little bit back. Upright is plenty for some. And then actively push with the glutes, pull with the toes, and get that stretch through here. Now keep that pelvis tilted under, so keep lifting the front of the pelvis up to lengthen the hip flexor. If we go to, you might have seen the couch stretch where we lift this foot up and put it on an elevation or put it against the wall. Great stretch, but not if it goes, if you can get there by sacrificing that pelvis position and arch. That's not what we want. We want that nice slow push and really getting the stretch done through here. All right, next up, pigeon. Now the pigeon stretch, one of my favorites, and I really need it because I'm not very flexible in this position. We're gonna put the lower leg flat on the ground, and then we're gonna try to push the other hip down into the ground. Now, as you can see, I can't quite get there. So I've got two options. Option one, I can be here and just kind of push my hip down, or I can elevate this knee a little bit and keep the hips very level to the ground. I like to use both, a bit of a mix. One time I'll do the one time I'll do the other. So this really gets that hip externally rotated. Great to get you in a good position for squats, but also just really opens up those stiff muscles in the side and the back of the hip. And slowly move out of that position and go to the other side. Again, I'll do it with the roller, but if you prefer to do it just on the ground today, that's absolutely fine as well. Just try both of them and see where you get your best results. Now, upper body is a different vibe for this, so you can try to stay as upright as you can, but you can also hang all the way forward. Try both, see where it stretches. There are really no right or wrong things to do here, guys. It's just finding out where you're tight and try to stretch those things. Not rocket science, funnily enough. Look, if I can do it, it's definitely not rocket science. It's bro science, which is a lot harder. Science with Rex. All right, coming out of that stretch, and we're gonna be a frog. What we're gonna do, get the knees nice and wide, the feet are fairly apart as well, and from that position, I'm gonna push the hips back. Push the hips back towards the heels. Experiment a little bit with where you find the best stretch, maybe when your feet are in more, maybe when your feet are out more. I usually go with my feet out a little bit and just push into that stretch just by pushing back. Now, upper body wise, you can be on the forearms like I am now. You can reach forward and put your chest on the ground. Whatever gives you the best stretch. For me, right around here, just feels divine. I'm just gonna relax into that, guys. We're gonna hold it for an extra minute. Just that second minute, just to relax those muscles. Take deep breaths in and slowly work our way further back. Try to push into that stretch. Now, you can actually use that contrast method that we just used on the roller here as well. Think about squeezing your knees together as hard as you can here for 5 seconds. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly relax and sink into it. You might notice you get an extra centimeter. In that case, well done. Now hold it there and relax into it. Big breaths. Apologies, the video cut out. My battery died. So out of that frog stretch, we're going into a low squat hold. Now, I'll give you a little twist. If you do have a kettlebell or a weight, put it on the ground and you can actually use that. So if you don't use the kettlebell, it's just a matter of sinking down, pushing those knees out, and trying to keep your chest up. If you do have the kettlebell, you can use it to kind of lean into it, become more upright, and really pull yourself down in that bottom position with that little bit of an anchor or a contrast weight. So both versions are absolutely fine. Now you can play around with having the toes pointing out, or you can have the toes pointing straight forward. The toes pointing out, you'll probably get a little bit lower. For instance, if I point my toes straight forward, I don't get the same depth and I lean forward a little bit more, but that puts the onus a little bit more on the ankles, which is quite good for me because they're a little bit stiff. So do both, become great at both, and your life will be much better. I'm gonna hold that for another minute. My arms are a little bit long, I'm a little bit of a knuckle dragger, so grabbing the bottom of the weight can actually help me a little bit. Normal length arms or a little T-Rex arms, you can just grab the top of the weight and you'll be fine. Again, here you can also experiment with how wide do you set your feet. We're gonna hold this for another 30 seconds, deep breaths. Very good. All right, on to your toes. Now, next up, we're going to use the wall. Let's see if you can see this. I have to turn the camera just a little bit. I'm going to use the wall for a chest stretch. What I want you to do, we have 3 options: elbow shoulder height, elbow nose height, or elbow at forehead height. All 3 stretch a slightly different position. Just pick one today. I'll go for the forehead height one. Step the foot closest to the wall forward. Keep that shoulder down and then rotate away. Try to turn away from the wall. Now there's many different muscles that run over that shoulder. So it makes sense that the different positions will stretch different parts of the shoulder. And we want to get every single muscle to stretch. That's why we have the different positions. Here, your breathing can actually really help you with your stretch. So you take a big breath in to the upper chest. And when you breathe out, you can sink in a little bit more because that breath has actually stretched the muscles just a little bit more. Holding for another 10 seconds before we switch sides. Make sure you keep relaxing your neck as well. All right, turn to the other side. Again, shoulder height, nose height, or elbow height. I'm going for the elbow height version. Foot closest to the wall steps forward, and then you open up and turn back. Big breaths. And make sure your neck stays nice and relaxed. Over time, you'll get a good idea of which stretch is more important for you, after which stretch you feel better, after which stretch you might even feel worse, because there is such a thing as overstretching. If you have a muscle that is already very loose and you stretch it more, you can limit the stability that that muscle will give the joint, and then it can start to actually hurt, or other muscles getting tighter because they have to take over. Be aware of those sort of things and try to really recognize the feedback that your body is giving you. 10 more seconds. And you come out of your stretch. Now sometimes you can notice that during those stretches you get a little tingling sensation in your fingers or in your arms. That's good. It means that that tension is releasing. Or it means there's so much tension there that actually stops the blood flow a little bit, in which case you should probably stretch it more. And if you really feel like a tingling sensation in the arm when you do it, that's a nerve stretch. You want to stay away from that, simply because it's outside of my scope of practice. Now guys, let me know if this is something that you'd like to get once or twice a week. I do this stuff pretty much daily. The stretches vary, the rolling varies, but I try to keep it at about 15 minutes every day anyway, so happily for you to follow along if you want to. So yeah, just let me know if this is something that you're interested in. All right guys, you have a great night, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. By the way, you're a legend.